is the metaverse and where we're kind of at with that today before we talk about where we're going to go in this new year. So when we talk about the metaverse, generally we talk about technologies like virtual reality, like the Oculus headset through Meta, some of the virtual worlds you might be familiar with, such as Fortnite and Roblox, or maybe Decentraland. And then there's other technologies involved like augmented reality, which you probably use every day for your Snapchat and Instagram filters, that you use on your app, maybe in applications for games like Pokemon Go. And then there's mixed reality, which we will talk about more towards the end, but essentially mixed reality is a combination where it brings the virtual world into your actual real life physical space so that you can kind of work in real time, but with a virtual aspect. So we'll explain what all those dynamics are that make up the metaverse. Now, the metaverse itself is something that isn't completely brand new. The metaverse has absolutely exploded in popularity today, but it's not a new concept. Back in 1968, it was actually created at Harvard by a guy named Ivan Sutherland and his team, who built the very first virtual reality rig and system, as you can see in the photos to the right. Now, this was very early and rudimentary type of technology that has obviously grown tremendously today, but served as a foundational understanding for what virtual reality, augmented reality, and the idea of the metaverse could be today, and what that experience could be like for us as human beings. The term the metaverse is also not something that is relatively new. The term metaverse was actually coined in a book in 1992 written by Neil Stephenson in his sci-fi novel Snow Crash, where humans interact with each other in a more three-dimensional virtual space that represents the real world. So a lot of these concepts, a lot of these words that we hear today about the metaverse that are thrown out, they're not brand new. They've been around for a long time. What's new is the commercialization aspect of the technology and the fact that it has been made real for a lot of people today. And that is something that's going to make up the basis of what we're going to start to continually see in 2023, building off of what we saw in the last couple of years. So further looking at the metaverse today, the metaverse has stretched into nearly every major industry, including real estate, gaming, fashion, events, education, and is growing into so many other sectors constantly. As per Metaverse, there are about 400 million active Metaverse users today. That's crazy to think about. You wouldn't think that there's that many, but because of the technology and the platforms, and because a lot of this has been pioneered on gaming, those numbers have grown exponentially. So 400 million is crazy for a market that's just absolutely brand new. And speaking of the market size for the metaverse is worth nearly $47 billion already. $47 billion is pretty small, but again, for something that's brand new, it's really, really exciting to see. This is expected to grow to potentially $678+ billion by 2024, just in a couple of years. And then the metaverse could potentially add $5 trillion to the overall global economy by 2030, by the end of the decade, depending on how many of these industries that it actually is able to lodge itself into. And if you look at the figure on the right, it shows how over time, the age group has actually diversified more heavily, split from kids and teens to being utilized by adults more and more frequently, even just over the last 5 years. And this is going to be really key also to understanding where we go here with the metaverse into 2023 and some of the use cases that are going to start being presented, not just for kids, not just for teens, not just in a playful entertainment sense, but also in a real world practicality sense.